welcome back to the Caring Conversation studio live at the Care Show London. We are here back after a nice refreshing lunch, and we have a new person in the studio. Do you want to say hello and tell us who you are and what you do?
Good afternoon, York. Thank you so much for inviting us today. My name is Marcus. I'm the Sales Director of Chat for Business, and we are a chat provider focused on the care sector.
So we're going to talk about sales and marketing today. So it's a big part of the sort of process for someone looking into a care home and then ultimately buying it for their loved one or for themselves. So what's your sort of top tips? What do you want to talk to us today about sales and marketing?
So I think the care sector has gone through a huge transformation in terms of, traditionally, people looking for a care home, you've done it by referral, obviously yellow pages,
Sorry, what? The what?
Yellow pages, exactly.
Yellow pages.
And even newspapers back in the day. And I think the care sector, especially through the COVID period, has really started to engage in the digital process. And I think the challenge for a lot of care homes is there are so many products out there, and everyone's putting their hand up saying we've got the golden egg that's going to solve all your issues. And it's actually being able to go through that process and understanding exactly what a digital process is, and specifically for the care sector.
I think ultimately there is no one magic golden answer, right? Like, no. It is about having a good quality general digital presence that allows people who want to go through a process of chatting to someone, a process of ringing, a process of inquiring over email, that you've got all of the bases covered in a way which allows every different type of potential customer to inquire, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's presenting those brand values in the way that care home wants to. But it's a complex process. You're looking at obviously an all singing and all dancing website with some great videos from Five on the Bike, but it's presenting that amazing website. It's having that social media presence on sort of Facebook and all the other social platforms. It's then driving that traffic to that website. So you need some either great SEO or PPC work, which in itself is a huge undertaking. But then once you've actually driven the traffic to your website, you've got them to engage on your website, it's actually about converting that traffic. And essentially you've got kind of three options. You can call, i.e. the old-fashioned way of picking up a telephone. You can use a contact form or email, or you can use chat. And we launched Chat for Business back in 2019, very much focused on the care sector. Because what we understood is it needed that 24/7 coverage, but it also needed that human element. And so every admission inquiry that comes through ourselves is picked up by a human. So you've got that empathetic understanding. If you're looking for a care home for your grandmother, who's obviously quite poorly by this stage, it's a distressing process. The idea of talking to a bot, I think, is completely out of somebody's comfort zone. But talking to a human who can understand their requirements, and with our product, we're able to pass that directly to the care home, and they can engage with it. And so it's about that whole process, about driving traffic to your website. It's about having that great website. It's then about converting it, and then it's about managing it. So you need a CRM in process and a management team in terms of being able to manage that whole process. So I think for a lot of care homes where basically they've picked up the telephone in the bath or they've answered an email, to go through that process is it's a big undertaking, and they need the right sort of people to be able to advise them, to engage with them, to be able to move things in terms of the way they do it.
Often we sort of see care home groups they'll do like one part of that process really, really well. So have a spectacular website, but they're rubbish answering the phone. Or they'll have a great CRM system and a great kind of after-sales process, but they don't drive any traffic to their website. And I do think you have to kind of think about it holistically, right, and say, right from the start of the process, how do you get people through? One question I had for you was, when people are using a chat function, what type of stuff are they asking?
So typically they're going to be asking about pricing, they're going to be asking about the admissions process, they're going to be asking if there's any availability, but then you get the sort of, more peculiar, do you have a vegan menu? At that stage, can we bring the dog to the care home on a Sunday to see Grandad? At that stage. Basically, they want some advice in terms of how that care home operates. It's usually around the admissions process, around pricing and availability, and usually they want to, book a visit. at that stage. And I think, a lot of people say to me, but Marcus, they can just call me, they don't need chat. But so typically, our peak time during the day is at 11 o'clock, and people are at work.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Yeah. And people are at work, and they're in an open plan office, and the last thing they want to do is describe one of their loved ones, not being so well at that stage. But being able to have a chat, on screen is very easy. Quite typically, people will sit down and search for a care home, and therefore launching a chat in their Google search is a digital process, and they're more than happy to do that at that stage. We also see around 40% of inquiries come outside of office hours. And so our chat is live 24/7, 365 days of the year. So you're never going to miss a chat. They're all documented. We have a great process in terms of getting all their contact information, but most importantly, we can then put that directly through to the care home. But also, if it's somebody comes onto a website and they want to supply whatever, or they've got an invoice query, or maybe they want a job at that stage, this is not stuff that you want your team engaged with in real time. So we run that through our bot technology at that stage. So it's really cost effective. Still get all the information, but your day doesn't get interrupted. When you get a notification from ourselves, it's somebody looking for a care home admission. I've got a great story. We've got a group that we've been working with for a long time. Premium care group in the UK, some in the south of England, some in the north of England, and we launched chat with them. And literally on the first day that we launched chat, they got a couple who inquired and were admitted 2 weeks later. And the CEO at that time said, "Marcus, this is great. We paid for your product for the next 10 years, literally on day one." And it is that important. You only need one inquiry to convert, and we get a conversion rate depending on that CRM process and the people from their perspective of anywhere sort of 25 and 35%. These are really hot inquiries at that stage, and we very much do the training with the team in terms of understanding the empathy, understanding the right sort of questions to ask.
And I guess ultimately, if someone is looking around at different care homes and they like to interact with a chat bot, with a chat function, and you don't have one, and another home does, they've almost beating you to the prize, I suppose, in a way of looking at it. Because I personally, I don't like doing phone calls because it ties you to that task.
Yeah.
So if I was trying to fix something with my rostering system the other day, and I did it over chat, because I can then leave that and go back and do so. If someone says, "Oh, can you sort this out?" I can go. It doesn't tie me to that task, so I can do multiple tasks at the same time, or I can pause that non-urgent task and go back to it later when I need to.
And once you're engaged with the right person, you can then focus on that chat.
Exactly, yeah.
And so whilst you're getting through to the right person, you're not having to focus, on that situation. You just take a multitask. Multitask is a big reason for using chat. But I think, it's interesting. I have more conversations on WhatsApp, by text message today than I do phone calls with my friends. And I would say I'm more of a pick up the telephone sort of person. But with WhatsApp, TikTok, Facebook Messenger, all these chat platforms, people are so much more relaxed at chatting because they can multitask, because they can do it in their open plan office. Quite often, actually, we see the person sat next to the person they're inquiring for care for, and they don't necessarily want to verbalise that. It can be quite distressing, especially somebody with dementia or something, in terms of, but they can easily do the chat side of that stage.
Yeah.
I think chat now accounts for 37% of all interactions. And as you say, if you haven't got that on your website, and the other key thing is, I think it was Lottie did some great work in terms of the number of missed phone calls going into care homes, and it's something like sort of 30-35%. It's huge. With chat, you'll never miss. It doesn't matter if it's out of hours or not; it'll get picked up.
Yeah, we've literally worked with care home groups and made videos to give to team members to say, please, can you pick up the phone and just take some basic details and be nice to people, because a lot of stuff gets missed, and you might, if you ring it round, you might, that's gone. That could be, because there is, if you only need you don't need a particularly specialist care home, for example, and there's 3 to choose from in your area, I think you're probably more likely to go with the one that holds your hand through the process, like you said, because it is the stressing.
I think so. I feel for the teams within care homes. They're super busy places with the love and care of their residents, and I think we all have great admiration for the work they do. And when they get interrupted by a call, they don't know what it's going to be. with chat, they know it's an admission situation, and they can actually devote their time to it at that stage. And we very much take them through a training process, so they feel quite empowered in terms of how to deal with it at that stage. But I think it's up to all of suppliers to work with those care teams in terms of understanding how they work. You know, we're not prescriptive in terms of how so we've developed this product ourselves, and we very much sit down with those care home providers, understand their requirements, understand their team's capabilities, and we can adjust our product to suit them at that stage. And it's great. I think a lot of people in the digital space are doing that today in terms of, and I also, you know, we talked earlier about, you know, that joined up process. You know, we obviously have an open API, so we have integrations with CRMs, but most CRM providers are great in terms of, you know, we work really easily with them.
They want the information in, right? Because it helps their product be more effective.
And ultimately it helps their customer, which is what we're all there to do. You know, that's the key behind the digital process.
I've got one big, final important question for you.
Okay, you got me nervous now, York.
Alternative milks.
Alternative milks.
What's your favourite?
I'd probably say water, to be honest. Maybe beer. No, I don't really drink. Alternative milks.
You can, if you don't like them, you can say.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan, but I guess at a push, it would probably. Yeah, probably not. No, I don't do alternative milks. I'm a semi-skim type of guy, as you can see.
Well, you know, it's. I'm on the chat bot. You're phoning people up. You're drinking regular milk, drinking a bit of oat milk. You know,
you're into oat milk, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. So thank you very much for coming.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for your time. Really good to see you.
Right.
Take care.
We will be back in the studio shortly.